Welcome to Victory Lane. Welcome to Victory Lane. We're going to continue our reading with 3 pennies from hell to heaven. We're on page 51. God bless you. Enjoy the read. She came on the phone in a fury. Look, I don't want to talk to you. I said, hey, baby, I miss you. I'm not your baby anymore. Hey, come on now. We can work this out. Lawrence, I'm tired of trying to work it out with you. I know you can't be serious. I'm dead serious. You want to talk to your son? Hey, wait a minute. She called his name. Snooks. Well, I forgot he's outside playing with his friends. You have to call him back. Well, let me speak to Natalie. Natalie don't want to talk to you either after you heard her mother for the very last time. So call back later and you can talk to your son. Wait a minute. Click. She hung up the phone. I called back. She answered. I don't want to talk to you and your son is not home. Click. I got the message loud and clear. So I decided to call my other son, Idris. Hello, Verdia. This is Lawrence. I know. How come you didn't come and pick up your son like you said you were going to do last week? I couldn't make it. That's the story of your life. You can't make it. You ain't got no money and you can't see your son for this reason and that reason. You know, one day this is going to come back and bite you. Idris really loves you and he looks up to you and you continue to let him down. Lawrence, when you going to grow up and be a man and be responsible? I didn't call to hear you lecture me. Well, somebody should because you're doing a piss poor job of being a man. Let me talk to Idris. He's not here. He's riding his bike with his friends. Tell him I called. I'll tell him for what good it's going to do. Click. Whoa. Both baby mamas hung up on me. They both were good women. I met Verdia while working at the phone company. As a matter of fact, I met them both while working there 2 years apart. Both ladies were top shelf, first class. Loretta stood about 5'6" with pretty brown skin, a body that would make a man scream and holler, and a smile that melt your heart instantly. Verdia stood about 5'8" tall, 5'8" tall, with chocolate black skin, an African American sister, beautiful eyes, nice petite body with long legs. I mean, that's the way I rolled with the women back in the day. I always went for the finest and the best. Verdia was an administrative assistant for a big law firm downtown in San Francisco, while Loretta also worked at the phone company as an engineer assistant. I was out strolling one beautiful sunny afternoon in 1978 at lunchtime, and that's when all the ladies would come out from their work, and I just walked up to Bertie and started my talk, making her smile. If I can make a woman smile, I can win her heart. It's just a matter of time. My philosophy was the ear is the avenue to the heart. All I had to do was keep on rapping. We went to lunch a few times, had a little dinner a couple of times, and one thing led to another, and bam, we had Idris. Loretta, on the other hand, who became my common-law wife, she was my brown sugar. That's what I would call her all the time, brown sugar. I met her in 1980 in the elevator while at work and stalked her like a lion until I finally devoured my prey. She already had Nat, who was 2, and later we had Snooks. Verdia had my first son, Idris. He was basically a good kid, 14 years old, did okay in school, and I got him as much as I could on the weekends, some holidays, and special events. I wanted him to be included with his brother, Lawrence II, Snooks, and his stepsister, Natalie, Nat. I made sure to instill all the knowledge that I had into my kids, even though I was doing the wrong thing quite a few times. I taught them not to do wrong in the way of life. Natalie was 16, and she did not like it in the least bit of how we lost our house and how her mother was saddened by my actions. Snooks, too, was also sad, but he had the hope that Mom and Dad would be together again. Little did he know, or I know for that matter, that that would never happen. I went back into the courtyard and smoked a cigarette before going back upstairs to the madness at Otis' apartment. I started praying to God to once again help me. It seemed that my prayers were to no avail. I wondered if God was listening. I wondered, did it really do any good to pray? I wonder, was there really a God? Yeah, there got to be a God. All of this stuff going on, I sure wish God could help me out of this. Little did I know he was already in motion. It just wasn't working the way I thought it should work. I know now that that that's just God. He does things in His time, and His time sometime is not our time. Things seem to have calmed down when I got back to the apartment, and that could only mean one thing in the dope world. They were running out of dope. Everyone who smokes crack, and when it has reached its end, slow their roll with their mind in a stage of bewilderment, wondering how to get some more to keep getting high. Otis said, "Lawrence, you got some more crack?" I said, "No, Otis, I don't want any more." "You don't want any more?" "That's what I said. I've had enough of this crap for today." "What I have, Slim, will you sell me some?" Slim said, "I'm not giving you no credit because I don't want to go through no drama with your cousin when I'm supposed to get my money." Otis said, "I got the cash right here. I got $40. Can I get $40 worth?" I said, "Otis, you need to be careful with your money." He said, "It's all right, Lawrence. I still got $60 left, and plus I can get some more money next week from my payee." I said, "Okay, whatever. It's your money." I looked at the amount of dope that Slim was selling him for $40. I said, "Is that all the dope that you're going to give him? That's about $20 worth." He said, "This is it. If you want it, here it is, Otis." Otis hurried up and gave him the money and began smoking again. Dave and Dave, along with Clyde, sat there looking at Otis and Slim getting high, like dogs waiting for a bone, hoping to get a hit. Finally, they all three left after getting the hint that no one was giving up any dope. When it gets to the end of smoking, everyone who gets high gets stingy. I was glad they had all left. I took a big swig of vodka and laid down on the bed trying to figure out what I was going to do next. Otis said, "Slim, let me get another 20. He said, "Okay." It was the size of a dime. I rose up from the bed and looked at them both with disgust. Otis said, "It's okay, Lawrence. I still got $40. Slim said, "Hey, if he wants it, I'm going to sell it to him. It beats going back out there in the streets trying to find someone to buy from." And he was right about that. But the quality that he gave him was not worth it. I said, "Okay, Slim, don't sell him any more dope." He said, "Lawrence, I appreciate you looking after your cousin, but you can't tell me not to sell him any more dope, no more than you can tell him not to buy any. We both grown men." "Yeah, you're right. I'm through with it. Now, when it comes to this credit thing, you can say all that you want, but you need to leave this one alone." "I'll leave it alone for now because I don't want to go through this mess with Otis right now. We'll have a talk later." Page 56, Night Walk in the Razor. He turned to Otis and said, "Look here, I'm getting ready to go. You want some more before I leave?" Otis said, "No, I'm cool with what I have." As the night approached, Otis and me took a chill pill and cooled out for the evening, eating our fried chicken and fries, drinking beer, and watching television. I was glad that the room had finally come to quietness. I fell asleep on the bed, and Otis slept on the floor on a makeshift pallet. Saturday morning came, and we went to Glide to get some breakfast. It was a nice day in spite of having no money, no job, no wife, no crack. It's funny how the simple things in life are sometimes not much appreciated. Breath. I mean, to breathe has to be the most blessed gift of life. You can live if you might have a physical handicap or whatever, but to have breath in your body is the ultimate, because if you can't breathe, you can make something happen, be it right or be it wrong. In my case, I was trying to do my best to start living right. I'm finding it to be not a hard thing to do if you really want to. You can avoid doing wrong if you live right. As a matter of fact, it's kind of easy, because if you do right, you don't have to worry about or think about doing wrong. We went back to Otis' apartment and relaxed for the rest of the day, drinking beer and watching college basketball. Otis got up and said, "I'll be back, Lawrence. I'm going to work." I said, "What kind of work you do?" "I panhandle." "Panhandle?" "Yeah. I get my coffee cup and go to my corner and wait for people to give me some change." "Is that right?" "Yeah, I do pretty good on most days." "Oh, really?" "Yeah, I make about $20 or $30, sometimes more. It all depends on how long I stay out there." So how long you been doing that? I do it all the time, especially around people's paydays, and sometimes they buy me lunch, and sometimes they buy me dinner. So that's your hustle. He smiled with his missing teeth and said, yeah, that's my hustle. I'll see you later. I sat there watching the television, rather the television was watching me. To stop the boredom, I decided to escape. I picked up my backpack, pulled out my writing tablet, dictionary, and Bible. These were the tools that gave me freedom to escape into another dimension of myself, escape from the lunacy and the stupidity of the world of addiction, escape to my Disneyland, riding the fun and scary rides of life that existed in my mind, where I thus became engrossed in the words of the English language. What a ride. My crack book was just about complete. I just needed to write about 20 or more pages and then edit it and get it published. Man, how was I going to do that? God only knows, I said to myself. But the main thing is that I got to finish it, and I have to start writing 3 pennies, and that's what I began to do. Hours passed before I heard the lock on the door turn. Otis came in with his cup of change. I said, how did you do? He said, I did okay. I'm trying to get better with managing my money. You know, Lawrence, I still got $40. That's good, Otis. Hold on to it. Hey, Lawrence, do you think we can go up on the corner and you buy us some crack? Damn, Otis. Come on, cuz. You know how to pick the dealers out. How much money you got, Otis? $35. You made $35 in 4 hours? Well, I made 43. I stopped at the store and bought me some cigarettes and changed my coins to dollar bills. Okay, Otis, let me get my mindset. Lawrence, what is this thing you're talking about, getting your mindset? Hey, it's like this. I have to relax and then get myself ready to go and deal with the streets. What do you mean? It's like this. Remember when you used to run track in high school? Yeah, I was pretty fast. I didn't know you remember that, Lawrence. I do. Well, it's the same thing. I got to get ready for the streets the way you used to get ready to run track. Oh, I know what you mean. Is your mind set yet? Just chill, Otis. Okay. After about 15 minutes, my psych was up, and I said, give me the money and let's go and play Let's Make a Deal, Monty Hall. We walked to Taylor and Turk Streets. That's where all the action was for buying crack from the youngsters. We loitered around the storefronts as I waited to make my move on which dealer to buy some dope from. Bingo! The same guy I had bought from yesterday was walking down the block. We caught each other's eyes as we both scanned to see if there were any policemen around. He said, how much? I said 30. We quickly exchanged money from hand to hand, crack to the other, and kept going our separate ways. Otis said, Lawrence, I gave you 35, but you only asked for 30. I told him, look here, Otis, the same amount you would get for 35 is the same you're going to get for 30. We bought some more chicken and fries along with some vodka and cigarettes and headed back to the apartment. The time was about 6 p.m. on this warm Saturday, August, which was a good thing because the longer the day was light kept the vampires in their coffins, as well as the zombies and the walking dead that emerged from their dwellings at nightfall. Very soon I would be in the midst of them, trying not to become a victim of the blood-sucking soul jackers, waiting to steal your body and soul. I knew that night would come when it would have to happen. I just did not know that it would be sooner than later. So, Otis and I smoked the little bit of crack up in about an hour, and both he and I wanted some more. It was about 7:45 p.m. in the night, and I was not about to go out on those streets being paranoid and look for some crack. I would have gotten chewed up and spit out like a piece of meat in a moment's time. Knowing that, I said, Otis, now is not a good time. Let's just drink this vodka and chill. There's always tomorrow. Besides, you need to save the little money that you do have. He said, yeah, I guess you're right. But you don't want to really go back out there, do you? You got that right. Not tonight. Well, I have already signed you in for tonight, so it's no problem. That's good. I appreciate you letting me sleep over, Otis. I really do. It's cool. We finished the crack and drank the rest of the vodka and let the night roll on. Sunday morning, Otis and me took a walk up the street to Jack in the Box. Got us $1 Jumbo Jack hamburger with water. That was breakfast. We went back to the pad again and just chilled. Otis said, I'll be back. I got to go and run some errands for some of the elders in the building. I said, that's nice. I'll be here when you get back. I'm going to do some more writing. The Three Pennies saga was starting to formulate enough so that I had enough of its living to begin to write the book, and that's what I did for the next 3 hours. The doorbell rang. I went to the intercom and asked, who is it? The voice on the other end was starting to become familiar to me as he replied, it's Slim. I pressed the buzzer to let him in. He knocked on the door. I said, it's unlocked. Opening the door, he began to speak. These workers around here won't give you any slack. I said, who you talking about? I'm talking about them Chinese people. What about them? They always try to get in your business. I was signing my name in the book, and the woman asked me how long you here. Ain't no business how long I'm going to be here. You know what I mean? Well, I guess she's just doing her job. It ain't none of her business to ask me about my business. Where's Otis, your cousin? He said he had some errands to run for some folks in the building. You know, that's another hustle he got besides the one panhandling. Yeah, I know about that one. That Negro make good money panhandling. How you know that? I see him on the corner where he stands, and then people drop a lot of change in his cup. That's good for him. And then he runs to the store, the restaurant, and the cleaners for these people around here. He probably makes about an extra $100 a week doing his hustle. I ain't lying. Then he sat down and started his ritual of getting high. The emptying of the cigarette tobacco on the table, the breaking of the crack in little pieces, taking his zigzag paper, putting the tobacco in while adding pieces of crack, rolling it back up and start smoking. I looked at this and thought to myself, there's absolutely no way in the world that I am going to go through all of that stuff. Give me the pipe. That's all I needed. Slim said, Lawrence, you want a hit? Here. I said, I'll take a small one. That's all I'm giving anyway. Yeah, okay. I can't keep doing this. Doing what? I just can't keep doing this crap. You mean smoking crack? Heck no. I can't keep giving my dope away. To who? To all these trifling people around here. Who do you mean? People like your cousin. They always want something. I was up on 5th Street. I know quite a few people around there. And this dude wants to borrow $5. I can't keep doing this stuff. The crack high was on. Well, my butt, I can't keep doing this stuff. Just then the door opened and in walked Otis. Slim said, where you been? Otis said, I had to run some errands for a couple of people. He said, yeah, I know. You made yourself a few dollars. You want to buy some crack? Yeah, can I have $15 worth? Slim went into his crack sack and gave Otis about $10 worth of dope, and he was happy as a lark. He smoked it in a hurry and asked Slim, can I get another hit? You got $5? I think so. Yeah, I do. This time he gave him some that was worse than the $10 piece he had just bought, but Otis gladly accepted it. Then he said, Slim, no, Negro, I can't keep doing this crap. I was just telling Lawrence about all these people want to keep getting something for nothing from me, and I can't keep on doing this crap. As a matter of fact, let me drink my vodka and get out of here. He took a long swig, folded all this stuff back into his pockets and said, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Otis said, don't forget to sign out. The evening had progressed into dusk as I sat there in the apartment waiting for the darkness of the night to cover and hide the lost soul in the lion's den, the razor, better known as the tenderloin. This was the night that I would take my first plunge into the mouth of the lion. Razor-sharp fangs of people, rather vampires, whose only mission and undertaking of operation was to exercise their will upon the weak, the fragile, and the feeble, those who limp along the streets of death and the walking zombies already dead in their souls who can't be killed because you can't kill what is already dead a second time. Death is death, and the only course of freedom for them was to be buried in the grave of death itself. waiting for the resurrection of that great getting up morning when Jesus Christ himself will appear. And this is when they will face the second death of fire and brimstone for the many transgressions of reaping what they have sown in their lives. Where they will burn forever. I thought to myself that if I'm not careful in my own walk of life, I too would be one of them. Waiting for the time to pass was like being in jail. I wanted to break out, but I could not leave until the right moment. When you are in jail, you got to serve your time, and no matter how much you want to leave, you can't leave until your time is served. The jail that I was serving my time in was Otis' apartment, and the freedom that I was anxiously awaiting to be set free from was just a moment away, a ride down the elevator and the opening of the front door into another world. There is a fifth dimension beyond which is known to man. It is a dimension as vast as space, as timeless as infinity. It is the middle ground between light and shadow, between science and superstition. It lies between the pit of man's fears and the summit of his knowledge. This is the dimension of imagination. It is an area which is called the Twilight Zone. After a long time of silence, preparing my mind to get and be ready for whatever may come, not knowing what it may be, I said to Otis, "Well, cuz, the time has now come for me to check out the streets and go into the Twilight Zone to write another chapter of my book." He said, "Lawrence, are you sure you want to do this?" "Otis, I gotta do this. This is my mission. Can't you find another mission?" "It's not my call. It's God's." "Oh, God telling you to do this?" "Something like that. I really don't have time to get into a dialogue trying to explain it to you. I gotta go." I knew that if I were to get into a conversation with Otis at this point, that I would become apprehensive, nervous, and worrisome of the unknown, and that I would not walk out the door because of fear, and I did not need to have any of those feelings harboring over me. The time was about 9:30, and I figured by the time I get to where I was going, it would be close to 10, and that things in the street life would be jumping. Street life, and there's 1,000 parts to play. Street life, until you play your life away. That song stayed in my mind as I walked down the streets heading into the lion's den. I ended up at Taylor and Turk, and the activity of the street life was bursting out from corner to corner with all kinds of illegal actions. There were drug dealers and drug users, congregants of those who lived in the flea bag hotels and the low-income housing apartments, milling around, talking, laughing, drinking, and cursing. As I stood on the corner making observations of the children of the night, wondering what my next move would be, not knowing who was who, I was out of my element, out of my environment, out of my ghetto, traveling down the streets of no man's land, a land where I did not belong, a land which could very well mean the end of the road for me, a land where those in the know knows who should be there and who should not. Someone approached me and said, "Hey, OG, got crack, got weed, what's your pleasure?" "Man, I got it." I said, "I don't want nothing." He said, "Then what you doing out here?" "That's my business," as I started to walk forward 1 block up Taylor Street to Eddie. I came up on a group of men talking and drinking and said to one, "Hey, what can you tell me about the Tenderloin? I'm writing a book." He turned to me and said, "What did you say, dude?" I said, "I'm writing a book on being homeless and the life in the Tenderloin." He looked at me real stern and sincere, as if reading me to see if I was for real in what I was saying. And after a few moments, amongst all the noise that was going on around us, he began to speak. "So you're writing a book, is that right?" "Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Down here researching the street life of the Tenderloin." "Man, do you know where you at?" "Yeah, I do, on Taylor and Eddie." "Nah, man, do you really know where you at? This is the lion's den. And don't nobody dwell in the den except the children of the devil. You are in the midst of murderers, robbers, rapists, thieves, liars, whores, male and female, transvestite, drug dealers, and drug users. This is Skid Row. Have you ever heard of Skid Row? Yes, I have. This is the last road on the walk of life on this planet Earth before you get to hell. Because I tell you, almost everyone down here is going to hell, probably including me. Let me tell you something, dude. You down here talking about writing a book, you don't know who you're talking to, and they don't know who they talking to. I mean, you got a good idea about putting this life down here in the raisin, the lion's den on black and white, but I got to tell you this, you better watch your back, because the talk you talking, you just might end up in one of these dumpsters, dead, never to be seen again. And that's all I got to say to you, dude. Be careful. Tune in next week.